So last time I cooked West African food, things didn't quite go according to plan. So I'm hoping that tonight will be a little bit of a redemption. I'll be cooking Babenda from Burkina Faso, and hopefully it all turns out all right. This dish is basically a puree of various greens. Usually you want something a little bitter and something a little more mild. In this case, I'm using some kale for the main body. And I've also got some dandelion, which will add some bitterness to the mix. I think it's the same thing as what grows in your lawn, but buy it from the grocery store just to be safe. So let's get a couple of liters of water going in a big pot. Now we're gonna process our kale. Let's remove the thicker part of the stem because I don't think that'll break down as well over time. And then we'll just chop up the rest of the leaves into maybe 1-inch pieces. For the dandelion, we're just going to chop off the longer part of the stem, and really the whole thing is kind of a stem, so just get as much leaf as possible, and then we'll chop those up into similar sized pieces. It's not really going to matter because they're all going to sort of melt, but I like to keep things the same size just for principle. Next up, we've got some scallions, and we're not going to use the white part. We're going to use the greens. Now these are very thick, broad scallions, so if you have the smaller ones, no need to do this. But I'm slicing them lengthwise, and then again chop them into same size pieces as the other greens. Let's go ahead and dump those all into the boiling water. Give them a good stir so that they're mixed in. And let's cover them up for about 20 minutes until the greens start to wilt. Next up, we've got some peanuts. I got raw peanuts. I would recommend getting roasted ones just to avoid this step, but I had to roast them myself. Just do it in a pan for a few minutes until they're slightly brown. And then we'll throw them into a food processor. You could also use a mortar and pestle, but why work when you could have robots do it for you? Once those are at a medium sort of texture, dump those in. Give them a good stir. And we're also going to go in with about a cup of rinsed white rice. You can also give this a smash in a mortar and pestle, but I didn't. Now let's take about a tablespoon of baking soda. Now normally you would use something called potash, but you can use baking soda instead. Essentially it's a thickener and an emulsifier. And then we're just going to cook these for another, let's say 30 minutes or so until the rice is cooked and until everything is reduced down into a thick puree. Turned very green. It's funny, the water was red, and at one point, actually immediately after adding the baking soda, it started fizzing up, which kind of scared me. Baking soda does that though, I guess. And it turned bright green. You can see the color is just vibrant. Forgot the salt, which will definitely help it out. But the basic kind of gist that I'm getting is like creamed spinach, that sort of texture and flavor. All the greens have released their juices into the water. The rice just like beefs it up a little bit, thickens it up. The peanuts, you get a little hint of peanut here and there, a little nutty flavor. But overall, yeah, it's solid greens dish. You know, I'm kind of transported back to my childhood of eating Boston Market chicken and having a side dish of creamed spinach. But I'm really glad this turned out the way that it did, and I won't be wasting a bunch of food.